Hi everyone, I'm Noah Fowler. My Facebook page is Jesus Believers, and this video is about my testimony with addictions, some insight of my past struggles and how I got clean from it, and talk about some dangers and effects from the addictions through my experiences with it. Okay, let's start. My smoking and vape testimony. When e-cigs came out to the Australian market in 2007, everyone wanted to try it, including me. They advertised for people to quit smoking tobacco cigarettes. They also later on started to sell many different flavorings for e-cigs, which people really became interested in. It blew up. Also, you could buy and vape in pubs and clubs or anywhere you want realistically, going by the law, because it was new to the market and wasn't considered unsafe or harmful, as some of the people said on social media and some of the big corporate companies that were selling it. It was known to be a flavored water liquid vapor with nicotine, but people didn't see the nicotine to be bad or harmful. It was just the addiction substance for the smokers to quit the tobacco cigarettes. I wanted to quit smoking cigarettes and start up vaping e-cigs, and brought one with some flavors and straight up nicotine. I had to manually put the nicotine and flavoring liquid in the e-cig machine and do the ratio to my liking. The two things were, with smoking cigarettes, you crave and want is the burn feel of the nicotine burning your lungs and seeing the smoke cloud. It's ritual. So you wanted the same effects with the e-cig. The first time I tried my own e-cig, I accidentally put too much in the machine, and the taste and burn was so very bad, I thought I was going to die and vomit. But then I started to play with the nicotine to adjust to the right amount by my own experience and by the company instructions and standards. It got better quickly. But what I really started to notice over a short period of time, vaping within 2 to 4 weeks, I started to get short breath, a very bad cough, and rapid heart compulsions every day. It started to worry me and affect my physical and mental health. But I continued to vape for 3+ months. My health conditions was getting worse, I admit. I even reduced the nicotine levels twice. The nicotine rush was high. It did feel good, but I realized the company standard amount was 20 times more of nicotine in one e-cig cartridge than a tobacco cigarette. The one e-cig cartridge was equivalent to smoking 20 tobacco cigarettes. Then I finally gave it up and sold it to my friend. Later on, he noticed the difference and did the same thing as I did. Yeah, I'm glad that he gave it up to me. But later on, in Malaysia, I took it up again for a few months, doing shisha, hookah, as some people would say, vaping with my bro and mates there. It was a big thing in cafes and outside of restaurants, etc. At the time, it was socially fun, very flavorful, and get to rip big clouds, as we say. But I also noticed started to cough real bad again and had short of breath, etc. Shisha was everywhere. So in total, I estimated to smoke cigarettes for 7+ years on and off. The first year I was a social smoker, and after that I became heavier chain smoker. Multiple times I did try to quit smoking by my own strength, free will, quitting cigarettes for 1 to 4 weeks at a time, but failed for many years. The most I came to was 3 years off cigarettes, but for the wrong reasons. But when I fell back into smoking again, because I liked it in my mind, I was attached to the addiction no matter what others would say about it, or myself. The main reason I wanted to quit smoking for many years was because I didn't want to die young from a lung disease or any other cancers that comes from smoking or vaping, that as we understood growing up from all the advertisements. I noticed many things over the time, and others noticed and told me when I was smoking heavy. I was spending a lot of money. I didn't care what I smoked, mainly smoked the cheap dirty cigs. I had very bad withdrawal symptoms, like bad moods, I fidget, I got aggressive, like my aggressive behavior, like easily got annoyed if I didn't get my cigarette or nicotine fix, as we'd say. I didn't care when I smoked, even in like sacred places like church, around church or whatever. Like my fingertips were like getting yellow, my teeth were black and yellow stained. My breath was very bad. My clothes and room smelled very bad of the tobacco and nicotine. My breathing and coughing was getting worse, short of breath fast when I walked or run intensively. Fast heart rate when smoking, and even through the withdrawal stages. I started to hang out with smokers and watch smokers smoke for the fun of it, and got interested to try other brands and local products that was available. Your mind thinks about smoking all the time. It's hard to switch off. There is times when you are smoking and start to think about the next cigarette. That's how bad it is. And there's times where you want to try different ways to smoke and smoke other drugs to get that bigger high, like the dopamine rush. All you want to do is wanting and craving more to try to get to another level of high and to stay higher. But smoking is a false and temporary sense of high. Dopamine is the chemical that plays a role in pleasure reward, like called the feel-good hormone. So, in the end of 2019, I decided in my Christian walk to fully surrender to God and to let God take away my addiction through prayer. I cried out to Jesus and asked to take away my cravings, this bad habit and desire for smoking and vaping. And instantly it went away. By God's grace, strength and power, I don't smoke anymore. It's been more than 5.5 years clean. Thank you, Jesus. It is only by Him I could have done it. And I still don't have that feeling to smoke. Many big wealth corporations are lying to the people about nicotine and saying it's not unsafe or harmful, it's only addictive. But the studies, lab results and facts are out there saying nicotine kills and is very damaging to the body, lungs, heart and brain. Over the years, we have seen many diseases and illnesses that have killed 50% of the smoking community. And because you're addicted, you only will get worse off than when you first started smoking, and it's also hard to quit from the withdrawals. It's a vicious cycle, and the big corporations don't care only about the vast wealth they are getting, which is hundreds of billions of dollars a year. All the things the government passes to be legal is the market, which is in the market, which is very addictive and harmful for people. but very lucrative for them. These products include alcohol, like nicotine, opioid in medications, and additive sugars in all the foods. All these things are highly addictive, and social media, as I might say, is addictive. And they're destructive to the human body and brain. Addiction comes from taking the available substance that controls and enslaves the brain to be dependent on the substance. So when you keep feeding your drug and addiction, later on it gets a lot harder to quit. Also, the longer you abuse the drugs, the higher the risk you keep damaging your body that could potentially permanently damage you and get severe mental health problems. Because your brain changes to what you keep exposing it to. Addictive drugs like nicotine also increases levels of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that is part of the brain's reward system and creates feelings of pleasure and reward. And I think about this scripture, which is very helpful. But each one is tempted when he is drawn away by its own desires and enticed. Then when the desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. Sin is death. That is James 1:14-15, the New King James Version. So this is just a testimony, a short one, but that was pretty much the wrap of what I went through and the effects and my experiences through smoking cigarettes and then going over to vaping, because at the time it exploded, and just you get curious and you want that high, and they made it advertised to be so good. But the transitions between smoking cigarettes, like I felt when I'm smoking cigarettes, I started to get coughs, and I started to notice, the shorter breath and the heart palpitations every now and then after a fair few years of doing it. But that was only years after I started to feel those symptoms that started to get increasing and that could really affect me more. Later, so when I quit cigarettes at one stage for 3 years, I came back to smoke again. But then it was after I started smoking cigarettes, I went to the vaping. And I noticed within 2 to 4 weeks that the symptoms of coughing and shorter breath and my lung issues was within 2 to 4 weeks it was already hitting me hard, because the thing is, the amount of nicotine was a lot higher each cartridge. Like I'd do maybe 1 or 2 a day, 1 cartridge or 2 cartridges a day, which is equivalent, to 20 smokes a cartridge. No, sorry, not 20 smoke. So it was such a higher dose of nicotine into the e-cigs. So the thing was, even when I reduced it twice down with the company standards and instructions that I went by, I went twice. I reduced it twice. It did feel better, but also it was still high compared to the tobacco cigarettes. Is like a lot less dose of nicotine that they manufacture into the cigarettes. So that is why it took so longer to get those symptoms with cigarettes that I've noticed over the years. And within a month you start to get, that's how bad it is. And they're still producing out there. They're still a lot higher, but now the information and the lab results and the tests and the studies that they've got over, now it's been multiple years. Now they're saying it's real bad. It's, before we just knew it's bad anyway. But look, now that we've actually got results, now there's study where it's killed, from e-cigarettes, they have 68 people that died in 2020, plus, and there's probably people dying with the disease, like I think it's E-levi or something, which is a lung disease, which they've got recorded. And but yes, that is my testimony, and it was good talk. I've always wanted to do this, to let people know that what I went through. I had many problems. I could know a huge difference of just the effects, what it does on your body, your performance. It reduces so much, and for what? To be socially cool. I didn't. Yeah, it's just to kind of fit in, and then you get addicted, and you know the addiction overcomes you. You know, you can't control the addiction. The addiction has control over you, your brain. You know, you become dependent on it. It becomes your friend, but actually it's your enemy, because it's destroying your body. It's doing no good but only harm, and it's very destructive, all of your organs. And we've already seen that with tobacco, cigarettes over the years, what people have, and they will, you know, it's so addictive, and it is hard to overcome. But I didn't do it in my own strength. I tried many years, over and over, quit for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, but I always came back. But it was only by fully surrendering to God, and He instantly took it away. And I still do not have that desire to smoke, even around people. When I smelt it around people time to time, and in places where I don't normally go into places that, you know, to trigger it, but I still, God has, you know, it's been a battle. I still, you know, pray about it, and still thank God that He's taken it away. But I don't put myself in the situations to hang around people who smoke, and, you know, it's kind of foolish if I had to do that. But but yes, anyway, God has taken it away. He gave me the power through Him when I called upon Him, and He helped me and did something that I couldn't do on my own strength, by my free will, because it for many years I tried, but I failed time after time. By His grace and mercy and power, He blessed me. And now, even though it was for over 7 years, I don't have that craving or desire to smoke. So I believe you can do the same. Just pray and keep trying to quit, and just, that's all you can do. And if you just give God a chance to help you with your struggle. It is a journey, it is a process, but I believe that you can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I hope the best for you, and I pray that God will take it away for you and help you get through the struggle that a lot of us are going through. You're not the only one. Chains of addiction can be broken by the power of God, and I believe that. And we can only keep believing the promises of God, and by His power, anything is possible through God. Not through man, but through God, because He has the power to break sin and death. He has victory. And I just hope the best for you and your future, and the sooner you quit today, the sooner your lungs can heal, your organs can heal, the sooner the better. Before it's too late, because I've talked to people, I've seen people, they in their 40s, 50s, 60s quit, which is great, but because of 30, 15, 20, 30 plus years of smoking with all that damage, it's only going to make it worse. And yes, then you might, get a lung disease, which is a terrible feeling. It's a terrible thing, and I don't wish it upon anyone, but, we have to make a choice. We have to make a choice to give it up. We also got to make a choice to put it in God's hand, because our hands that we all have tried to quit, and we all have different reasons. If it was for a son, a family member, we always have other reasons why we want to quit, but those reasons will not make us quit. But it's only that time when you are on rock bottom, have no other option, when you've tried everything, therapy, when you've tried all these different things to quit, but nothing worked. But this will work by the power of God, by surrendering, calling upon his name, giving him a chance to work in your life, to give that power to you, so you can break that chain of addiction. Because it mentally, it is hard to break, but anything is possible through God's power and mercy and grace. He will take it away for you. If you work with him, he will work with you. Walk with him, and things will look up for the will of God. Ask and you will receive. Knock and the door will be open.